So now we had, and it's really interesting. We had another dream, um, posted on the group,
Mm,
and what we thought was interesting was a black and white dream, and there is something to be said about black and white
yeah.
dreams, and so um, let's we're kind of flipping the thing on its head because sometimes when you are watching dreams interpreted live and this is often what as with John Paul Jackson, I learned a lot more with the dreams being interpreted live than I did in learning about elements and stuff like
Mm,
that. But it's like because they're difficult dreams, they're dark, they're weird, they're difficult, then watching how you can redeem a dream from dark, weird, and difficult to something that is redemptive and that God can really speak powerfully into is probably one of the best
yeah,
ways to
yeah.
understand it.
So, like you said, we'll flip it and start by doing a bit more about the dreams and the interpretations of
Yeah,
them than like the actual sort of teaching this, that, and the
yeah,
other,
yeah.
right? So, let me read this one. Okay.
Yes,
Um, we can say the name of the dream because it was on the forum, wasn't it? This
yes.
was Karen's dream. Um, and she says, "Can you help me unravel this dream? I was in my car as a passenger, and an incident happened in front of us. Asking the driver just to pull up and wait, telling them it's all on camera because there was a dash cam. There was a big commotion, and we witnessed someone being shot in the stomach. I remember taking the SIM card out of the camera and replacing it with another. The dream then went on repeat, and I saw it all again. This time, when I took the SIM card out, I was challenged by a man to hand over the SIM card. Don't know if I did or didn't do this. And then the shooting in the dream repeated for a third time. This time I was concerned about these people finding the other SIM cards in the glove box. Then we seemed to be walking through a crowd of people. We weren't in the car any longer, but we were trying to walk swiftly away. The person I was with got their bag, which was bright white, caught and drew some. They got it caught, so they must have got it caught in something, and drew some unwanted attention. And I heard male voices saying they also witnessed it. I remember lugging the other person.
Tugging.
Oh, sorry, tugging the other person and said, just keep walking. Sorry about that. We heard them shooting others. This is the only time I felt afraid, but was determined to keep walking, expecting to be shot in the back. Then I woke up. There was no colour to the dream that I recall, just black, white, and greys. The white bag I zoomed into, so to speak. Although this was me in the dream, I was also watching everything happen. A bit like watching a movie, I guess. Hope this makes sense to someone. Would appreciate any thoughts.
So now we were so impressed with like the interpretations of the dream and absolutely agree. Shooting someone in the stomach is very powerful words sent to actually stop their ability to digest wisdom. So when you eat, you're digesting wisdom and you're digesting the word and stuff in your. So it's a real pointed attack, and it's a powerful word. And often people with guns carry some kind of authority,
That's true.
and they're able to actually speak very powerful words. It could be prophetic people speaking words. So I don't know if this is a so okay. So let me just pull back a bit. I was trying to work out and understand whether this is a dream that had already taken place or if it was something that might take place. And so the thing that keyed me into what might have been actually happening was the black and white. And I did search the whole internet. I mean, I just always like to search the internet to see what people's wisdoms are and stuff. And we found John Paul Jackson. I love John Paul Jackson. And he had actually said a black and white dream is something you need to pray against. So often, if you have a black and white dream, it means it's some ploy or a wile of the enemy that he's trying to bring to that you can pray against and you can do warfare against. Yes, Renee, I agree. It's words of criticism, and so we really respect that Anne Marie and Renee had some really powerful words about that. But what I was trying to work out was the context of it. And is this something that had happened? Maybe it is something that had happened, but and interestingly, we spoke to Francine as well, and she completely was 1,000,000% on the right track, and she said it's something that could be an attack of the enemy that you need to pray against. And she also said the repetition of it is really important,
Yeah.
because it's God really trying to get your attention and say you really need to take note of this. So those were my thoughts. Is what is the context? Is this something she's seen? Is it
Mm.
something she's not seen? Um, so my sense is that it's might be something that's happening or ongoing, or might have happened or could happen, but that God's giving her an insight into it to be able to pray against it. That and even Francine said, and Francine, I'd love it if you could just post your interpretation that you sent me on the dream as well. But it's my sense that it's an opportunity, a black and white dream, is an opportunity for God to show you something that might happen in the future, and that He's trying to help you see it, pardon me, and understand that it's something, it's a wile of the enemy, and to pray against it, do warfare, because you have some. Obviously, God wouldn't give you a dream like this unless you have some spiritual authority within the group, and I feel it could be to do with a group of people that could be a church group, I don't know, I mean you will know, and that was the other reason I was asking, did you recognize the person, because that obviously will then link into which group God's speaking about. But obviously you'll know in your heart, you'll have a sense of what God's trying to say through this dream. I've spoken too much. Do you have anything to say? I know you have a lot you've seen in this dream, and so everybody else has.
Yeah, no, first off, let me say that yes, I really like what Renee says about the cameras speaking to moments captured, and the SIM card is something stored up in memory.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I kind of latched onto first as
Yes.
we talked about it, right?
That's really good,
So
Renee.
that's a really good insight. I
Yes.
think again, just to pull back, the center of this dream, there's two centers. Like, who's it about? Well, it's about the dreamer. And their position in the dream is an important part of this dream. But the real center of it is the activity, and that's the commotion. And as you've said, I'm just affirm that, right? It's about a group of people, so it's a group that she is involved in. Um, it's also about violence. You know, there's violence in the dream. And just affirm everything you've said. You know, guns are often they do have to do with authority, but it's an authority to speak, and so it's often spiritual words when it comes to guns.
Yeah.
Why a gun and not a blade? A blade is often like the word of God, but a gun is often like a spiritual word said in authority. So it could be like a prophetic kind of word, a word that's spoken with a spiritual authority, or an authority, right? And the repetition is a very important element of that incident. She sees this over and over, and it's actually not like so it's not like something that she is seeing because there's an escalation with it. By the third time around, more people there's more shots, right? So there is a sense that this may happen once, it doesn't get dealt with, it happens twice, it doesn't get dealt with, and then it starts to proliferate because it's happening a third time. So it may be that it's speaking to a repeating pattern within this group that's going to be very destructive. And I think so the second part of it is kind of about this person's response to it. They clearly the thing they're concerned about is the thing that's probably within their authority, which is I wondered if there was a glove box and SIM cards in a glove box, and I wondered if somebody is sending them memories to and testimony, and they have a duty of care over that testimony. And I think it was Renee actually, she might have said on the thread about holding testimony with integrity.
That's very good.
And that's very good, and
very good.
And I think that is part of what this person is concerned with in the dream. But I agree with you, it may be that the key takeaway from this is if you don't know, if you can't identify it anywhere, it's just to pray against it. And it comes back to it being a black and white and grey dream. It's an enemy plan to cause, as you said, I think, fracturing and dissent amongst arguments and criticisms within a group.